It's all about the U.S. against Russia. Why does the U.S. want these countries in Eastern Europe to join NATO, and Russia doesn't want them to join NATO? I don't. So I think this is the element. This is the point I'm hitting on a lot, because this is the one where I see some real insight. It's like this is breaking it down. The reporter Craig Westover says, "Ask 5 whys when you're looking for the truth." Okay, let's look at it today. Why do we want the guy who got poisoned to be the leader of Ukraine? Well, because he was friendly with America and the other guy was friendly with Russia. Well, why do we care if they have a Russian-friendly leader? I mean, actually, it only takes 2 whys in this one, I don't know the answer to that. Well, why do we care if they're friendly with Russia? What's the threat?
Right. Of course, we shouldn't care. And if we do, then your other questions are, yes, why does it matter? or maybe you can throw a what in there. What do we gain? What do we gain from having a government or a country that borders Russia be friendly to us and not friendly to Russia, if that's the way it pans out? I don't mind it. I mean, a country could be friendly to both, right? What's wrong with that? Let's be friends with everybody.
It's like Pepsi versus Coke, and Pepsi's like, we got Subway, and Coke's like, we're going to outbid you, so we get the Subway franchises.
Yeah.
And I think that actually happened within the last 10 years. I swear Pepsi used to be in Subway, now it's Coke, or vice versa. But I think it's Coke. Anyway,
it's good to know. Good information.
There's still this battle. There's still this cool war going on between us and Russia.
All right. I think there's one thing that is apparent that you can point out, and you brought it up earlier: the military-industrial complex, armaments and munitions, and all the tools of war and of killing people, destroying property, are very, very expensive and very big business. And in general, it's a business that only governments can play in, at least legally. Governments and then corporations that have to, by its very nature, that type of business, they have to have relationships with people in government.
So we can sell Ukraine weapons. They're a client of ours if they're on our side.
That's right. And if you're in the business,
that makes sense.
If part of your business is, and I would venture to say, I think it would be hard to argue against this, that one of the businesses that our government is into, an important business for our government, is weapons.
Okay.
Right? We manufacture a lot of weapons. We have.
So they are like a Subway.
We have. That's right. We have huge armed forces. And so let's put influence out of the picture for a minute and just look at it like a business, like a weapons bazaar, right? Well, then of course we want to get our salespeople out in the world selling our goods, and of course with weaponry, the best way to sell it is to do some demos, some demonstrations, right? And you got to be on site. You have to be where your buyers are, so you can show them that our stuff is good stuff.
Oh, that's so refreshing to get that out in the open.
Well,
I mean,
it's so, and you have to, if you got a new weapon system, and you're trying to sell it, and nobody's ever seen it in action, you might have to, arrange a demonstration, a sales demonstration, so that people can decide, I like these weapons, they really work.
So you're saying, basically, it still comes down to economics,
Yeah, doesn't everything?
Even if it's selling weapons.
But this is almost a relief. If the United States wanted Ukraine to be in our, be our buddy, as a consumer, as a client, that actually makes me feel a little better, because it makes sense, as opposed to saying we're worried about the threat of Russia. Yeah. Which is just so empty.
Yeah.
Because let's take that another. Okay, so Russia has influence over Ukraine. Okay, now if we just suddenly backed off, if America just suddenly backed off and we went Ron Paul on everything and just
became isolationists.
Yeah, well, non-interventionists. Non-interventionists. Do you think there's actually a real threat, seriously, of Russia going, oh, well, I guess America's out of the picture, so now we can have military and economic authority over Eastern Europe and Asia? And do you think that might and could happen? And would it be a problem to America if it did?
So like they'd monopolize that whole part of the world and then we would suffer?
Do you think it might eventually lead to a threat to our lives?
No. If governments are predatory, we all know that. We've seen it. We've seen our own government. And yes, if they see somebody weak, they might decide to step on them, try to take them over, try to influence them, whatever. That's history of the world, right? So that's true. Would it be a problem for us? Not really. Not unless
if Russia stepped in and
if Russia did that,
yeah.
Not really. I mean, again, Ukraine, for example, Georgia, for example, were part of the Soviet Union for quite a long time.
But we seem to always be battling on, the battlefront is Eastern Europe. Are you going to join NATO or aren't you?
It's not. We've always been doing that. Remember, before World War I in particular, and even after World War I in the 1930s, in the run-up to World War II, there were plenty of people in this country saying, we don't have anything to do with Europe. It's, in fact, in our best interest as a nation to stay out of these interminable conflicts that happen in Europe, because they have happened for centuries. They've happened for way longer than we've ever been a country, than we've been a nation.
All right.
We haven't, our country hasn't done anything to stop that. And in fact, perhaps we're, promoting it, I don't know. But in any case, yeah, why should it matter to us? It shouldn't matter. And then your final question is that would this eventually lead to a threat to us? And of course, I think if you take the worldview that we have to be the most powerful nation in the world, and I believe that there are many people in this country, whatever their political beliefs, there's a lot of people in this country that believe that. They think that this is the way we protect ourselves.
Well, you said governments by nature have a predatory nature to them. So either we protect ourselves from other governments or other governments are going to come and invade.
Well, I think what people are trying to protect is the principles under which our country stands. It's the individual liberty and the ability to protect your own prosperity that I think people really want to protect.
Yeah. Well, I think that's at the heart of it, and it's grown, and it's pulsated over the years from Central America, but it's always seemed to be on Eastern Europe, and today it's still on Eastern Europe. But they look at that as one small battle, and if we lose that small battle, well, maybe we'll lose another one, and if we lose another one, then we'll lose another one, and eventually, if we lose enough of them, then they'll be knocking on our doorstep.
Yeah. Well, if we're paranoid and if we're frightful all the time about these sorts of things.
Do we not live in a world,
it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You have to spread the reasons that made America great if you're going to get other countries to identify with us and become prosperous.
Thank you so much for sitting in and listening to this. Check out my blog, comment on the discussion. Feel free to shoot me an email. Let us know what you think at home. If you want to continue the discussion, start a thread below the videos. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.